Hey folks, and welcome to week number 3. So this week we've again got 2 turn-in dates, and basically this week's going to be all about working on essay number 1, kind of doing some practice trying to understand what it is we're going to write about. So this week, by Monday, we're going to watch the week 3 video, and then we're going to read 2 articles, one popular and one scholarly, just like you guys are doing with this essay. I've got links for them here, but I've also got links down below. And then we're going to do a little bit of comparison with the popular and scholarly sources, and I'll show you this in just a second. And then we're going to do a paraphrasing and quoting exercise. One of the real keys here is being able to know when you want to paraphrase and when you want to quote and what the difference between those two is, okay? And then for Thursday, we're going to read another article, The U.S. Wooed the Alcohol Industry for a Drinking Study, and you're going to write an annotation of it, and we're going to look over sample essay 1, okay? So that's this week. Let's go ahead and go down and take a look. All right, so as always, we've got folders that can open and close. The Essay 1 prep folder has got the popular scholarly comparison here. What you're going to see, I'm going to go ahead and open this up. One of the things you're going to find that I always do through class is offer you a sample, okay? Sort of give you an idea of what it is I'm looking for. So this is a sample popular scholarly worksheet. So for the popular article and scholarly study that you're using for essay number 1, I want you to actually do what I do here with the samples that we read for this week, Dell'Orto and Swithers, okay? So that's the stated goal, the study design, the results, and any caveats or discussion, okay? So in other words, what does the popular article say that the scholarly studies research goal is? A lot of times we'll see in the popular articles, they'll claim that they set out to investigate something or to discover something, and that's really not really what the scholarly article set out to do. The scholarly article set out to do something else entirely. They might have just had this finding that the reporters have now picked up on, but that's not what they set out to do. So what was their goal, their research question? What exactly does the popular article say about the scholarly study's design, how it was developed, how it was designed such that it got the results it got, okay? And you'll see here, again, an explanation about what Swithers does and doesn't do, okay? The results. What does this popular article say about the scholarly study's results? And again, all the way on the right is what does the scholarly study actually say? Our goal here, of course, is to figure out, did the popular article get it right? So what we really want to do is figure out what the popular article claims, what the scholarly study says, and whether or not that what the popular article says is an accurate reflection of the scholarly work, okay? So when it comes to results, okay, obviously the scholarly study gives far more detailed results than the popular article does. That's one of the ways we're going to start to look at these pieces and understand whether or not the popular article did a good job. And then any caveats or additional discussion, okay? So in this case, Swithers' piece is actually listed as an opinion piece. It's a scholarly study, but it's listed as a piece of opinion. Her piece sets out specifically to look at what the data that shows negative consequences is actually based on, okay? So she doesn't actually try to figure out whether or not diet soda has a negative impact on your health. She tries to figure out what might the cause of that be, if that were to be true. So she looks at all the studies that have been done on diet soda and weight loss and your metabolism and try to determine what the underlying problem there was. Okay, so again, caveats and discussion where you might start to identify some things that you might see as different between these two pieces. Okay, so that's the first part of our work for Monday. There's a blank template here that you can use. Just download it. It's a Word document. If you are in Google Docs, you should be able to get it and get it to open up straight in Google Docs as well. There's the sample one. That's what I just showed you. And then, of course, a place to submit the template with your work on it using, as I noted, the articles from essay 1 that you're planning on using. All right. Also, these are the 2 pieces that I'm asking you to read. for today. Okay, these are duplicate links of these. It'll make your life a little bit easier if you've read these before you look at the sample worksheet. Okay, so that's the Essay 1 prep. Now, there's the paraphrasing and quoting work as well. Okay, this is a video on the difference between quoting and paraphrasing. And again, we've got a template, a sample, and a place to submit your work. And what we've got here, if we take a look at this sample, so what I want you to do is to take either your popular or scholarly piece for Essay 1, doesn't really matter which one, and I want you to just give me a direct cut and paste from your text on the left-hand side. You can see I've marked that with quotes here just to indicate that it comes from that source directly. Then, over on the right side, I want you to practice working it in the quotation section, working a chunk of that quote, doesn't have to be the whole thing, working a chunk of that quote in to your own writing. So you can see here I introduce the scholar involved here. I also talk in this case about what it is she's trying to do, the quote, and then I explain it after the fact. So you can see the blue demarcates my words, the red is the direct quote. Okay. In the paraphrase section, same thing. Cut and paste from your source on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, what you can see, all of this is my words. But the difference between a quote and a paraphrase, of course, is that a quote is direct words from an outside source, and a paraphrase is when you put the findings from that research into your own words. So what you can see in red here is what I've tried to summarize, explain what is going on over here in terms that might be a little bit clearer to a layperson. So you can see the blue is, again, that same introduction, analysis. The red part is the ideas from the paraphrase section, or from the quote over here, but they're put into my own words. And that's what makes a paraphrase and not a quotation, putting it in your own words. All right? So, I do want you to practice this with your own pieces. One of the reasons I've been having you guys write annotations of a lot of the pieces, and we'll keep doing this throughout the course of the semester, is one of the single most important things for research writing is to be able to explain in your own words the research that you're using, right? One of your jobs as a writer is to sort of translate difficult research into terms a layperson could understand. That's what the popular articles this week are trying to do. Sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't do well. One of the things we can very clearly see, however, is that the job of that journalist, and your job as a writer here, is going to be able to explain what that scholarly study really does in terms that we can all understand. This is a way to practice paraphrasing, which is how we get to that. All right. If we come back here, I'm going to close that folder up and open MLA Citation. Quick video on my part, and then a link to Purdue University's Guide to MLA Citation. Part of the annotation, one of the things you're going to need to do in this essay as well is cite in MLA format, so just have that there. Then for Thursday, a brief article that we're going to read here, an annotation of Rabin's article, and then I want you to look at the sample Essay 1. Like I said, I always try to give you guys a sample. So, here's the article. Here's a place for you to submit an annotation after you've read the article. Again, if you want a refresher on annotations, go back to last week's work. And then finally, sample Essay 1 you can take a look at. This is an actual example from one of my classes. So you can see a good example of what it looks like, what I'm looking for here. And you can focus in on like the introduction. How is this introduced? How is the article discussed? How's the popular and scholarly article compare? How are the popular and scholarly article compared? Okay. I always give you guys a sample. Please pay attention to it. Please read it carefully, and think about how you can use this to guide what you're going to do with Essay 1. As always, if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to let me know.